Hello, ladies and gentlemen, to the final episode of Armament War Breakdowns. In this episode, we will be covering the final part of the Grazgarian War Breakdown. In the previous episode, we covered the second to last few battles and assaults of the war, along with the involvement of Greenlandian intervention. But in this episode, we are covering the aftermath of the war and its events that followed soon after. So let us finish this series. This war was started because of two things. The first was power. The two nations, Brazil and Tenara, who both had empires, were wanting to conquer more territory, and the only way they could have pulled it off was by working together. But their alliance wasn't as mutual, since Brazil provided only money, and Tenara provided only strategies, along with both of them focusing on their goals instead of working together. The second thing was revolt. Martin Malefe was once loyal to Pasaja, but when King Harold screwed things up, he had an excuse to beg for independence. But when he fixed things and gave them gifts, he felt like all of his hard work and service to the king, his people, should have been free from the times they fought together, but he realizes that it was all a lie, and that his people were nothing but slaves for Pasaja, which inspired him to lead a group that believed in his ideals of revolution. From the beginning to the very end of this war, over 2,701 soldiers were killed in combat on both sides. 83 of the soldiers from both sides were captured, and would soon be negotiated for release after the MIPR court concluded its trial with Tenara and in Brazil. As for the number of survivors, over 4,005 soldiers from these countries survived or remained in the aftermath of the war. As for the trial of the two nations, it would take place 2 days after the surrender from November 17th. The trial would take place on Wednesday, November 19th, 2025 at 8:30 a.m. They would first negotiate prisoner exchanges, and then they would conduct the trial a few minutes later at 9 a.m. Solomon of Tenara was charged with war planning, accomplice to invading countries, and also mass property damages caused on the country of Bulgaria. Solomon also told the court that he was bribed by Brazil to join in on his plan, which led him to originally join in on Brazil's side in the first place. The proof was records coming to and from Brazil's trading expenses, along with large sums of money being transported to Tenara. Brazil was then charged for bribery of second degree, since he bribed both Bulgaria and Tenara to join his plan, which was proven by testimonies and evidence. As for the liberalist leader of the Botswana rebels, Martin Malefe, he, along with his followers, were charged with mass murder of Pasajan troops and treason. As for the Grazgarians, they were charged with aiding Brazil on the invasion of Angola, along with mass property damage as well. An officer told them to do so because they were scared for the hold on just a second. The jurors believe Solomon was charged with war planning, accomplice to invading countries, and also mass property damages caused on the country of Bulgaria. Solomon also... Oh, sorry. Just a second. So basically, the nations were found guilty of everything due to evidence and everything on paper and witness testimony. But also later that same day, the judge of the MIPR Council, Judge Wynne, would construct a new treaty known as the Decolonization Act of 2025, where any nation that was under the rule of another nation for its economical or financial status could be free by the oppressing nation that occupied them, which would later convince King Harold of Pasaja to go with Botswana gaining its independence without having to deal with more future conflicts with them in the near future. So, basically, Brazil and Tenara were defeated. Brazil lost all of its empires, lost its empire in the end of the war. Ternarians still got to keep theirs, but they couldn't invade or attack any more nations. And as for the nations that were on Grizzle's side, like the Grady and Bueba, they were ordered to not make contact with Brazil again, and were to be seen as victims of coercion and intimidation. So they were basically let off the hook. But as for the leader of the Botswana rebels, Martin Molefe, they were charged with treason and murder charges, and they would later be executed a few days later. And as for Botswana, they gained their independence once King Harold let them go by signing the Decolonization Act of 2025 that President Wynne made. Now, even though this war ended, it of course would not be the beginning of future wars. But I thank you guys for watching this series, and I know it's been a long time and a lot of episodes that I made, but we are now going to finally move on to the Napoleon Army Tour, which I will be starting that very soon. Without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. And be on the lookout for a poll sometime this weekend. Peace.